All right, y'all. Okay. Friday, we made it once again. It wasn't easy this week, my friends, but it's going to be y'all right now. And I'm glad y'all came around and are down. Daily Go Get 'Emism show, y'all. Friday night, y'all. What you know, what you balling out, y'all. Everything is going to be all right. We do this thing on a Friday night and we get it right. Tonight, Tonight on the Daily Go Get 'Emism show, we are talking about the longest and the worst that you have been sick. The longest time that you've been sick and the worst that you've been sick. Because the longest you've been sick ain't always the worst that you've been sick. And vice versa, you know? But one thing about being ill, one thing about not feeling good for an extended part of time, or being really sick for a good minute, being hurt or injured for a good while, it leaves an impression on you that you won't soon forget, and y'all know that's true. So we're gonna get into it tonight on this Friday night. I could have saved this show for the Daily Go Getimism. I'm sorry, for the Urban Therapy with Sun show tomorrow, and we would have had more time to really get it all. But things get crazy and busy on a Saturday, so I thought I better do it now, and I know how that people get and they go. So I said, yo, while the bird is in the hand, I'ma let it show, and the flow is immaculate. It get crazy, act, get hell out of my face and give space. I'ma lace y'all with the info and talk about the things that happened before. And we gonna break it down like an enzymes, and Tommy will make this rhyme thing a little way that you didn't say before. Yo, I get to the core of our psyche and be like, this likely that we going to get a little better than we was. And I'm like this for my brothers, sisters, and cousins. That's word. So we gonna talk about the longest and the worst that you have been sick. What incident, what time in your life comes to your mind where you were like, yo man, I remember I was down for such a long time, and it seemed like I wasn't never gonna get better, baby. It felt like I wasn't never gonna get better, baby. Uh well, I remember I remember a certain time, and I remember certain incidents. And we could be talking when we talk about being sick, we could be talking about being injured. We can talk about not being well, having internal issues. But honestly, all sickness happens internally. Even if you have an injury that shows to the public, it's still what's going on inside that will make you not well, or whatever the case may be, or will make you unhealthy. So when we talk about the longest and the worst that you've been sick, we're talking about a time in your life when when your hopefulness was definitely being tested. It was definitely in question. When you're sick for a long time and you're not getting better, and when one day is just as bad as the day before, or maybe even worse, when you see your progression getting worse, and it doesn't seem to be getting to that peak. When you have like a condition that you're familiar with, you start to clock its progress. You start to get to know it. You know that, all right, it starts off like this, and then it starts to go like this, and when it's at its worst, it feels like this, and then after it's worse, then the clouds start to lift, and the skies start to open, and then you start to get better, and then you're on your road to recovery, and then you realize that you're on your way to being out of the fire, and everything is going to be all right. It doesn't always happen that way. And when it doesn't happen that way, when you get into I'm sorry, excuse me, unfamiliar territory, when you get into unfamiliar territory about your illness, about your condition, about your sickness, it works on your hopefulness. You start to become less hopeful, like, yo, you start getting in touch with your mortality. Like, yo, what if I don't get better? What if the rest of my life? Have you ever? I think we've all been sick to the point we asked ourselves, if the rest of my life had to be this way, would I be okay with it? Could I go the rest of my life like this? Could I tolerate it? Would I be okay with feeling like this forever? And and when you're not feeling well, it also works on your envy of other people. Because when you're sick, you feel isolated, you feel lonely, not because people aren't coming around necessarily. Sometimes that's the case. If you have a really bad sickness, like one thing that COVID taught us is that sometimes we can be sick to the point where it's dangerous for others to be around. And we don't want to put other people in danger. So people having to quarantine, with the COVID, serious stuff. But with that, you start looking at everybody around you that's healthy and start asking yourself, Dad, why me? Why do I have to go through this? I know they said that God won't give you nothing that you can't handle, but why is it my time to handle this? So y'all understand where we're going with this. It's not that you wish bad health on anybody else. It's just that you wish better health on to yourself. And you start asking yourself, well, how come I'm not getting it? How come other people can get maybe the similar condition that you're in, but they get better, but you're not getting better? A broken bone, where maybe when you were in your teens or in your 20s or whatever, that bone would have healed with the quickness. And now you've been nursing this bone, this broken bone, this fracture, this bruise forever. It seems like forever. It's more than the 6 to 8 weeks that they say it takes to repair a bone. That's for sure. It ain't working. Is my immune system messed up? Is this the end? I break and bend. Ooh. Seriously. You get to wonder, like, is this thing ever going to heal? Am I ever going to walk again, be able to walk the same again? And will I be able to reach for the sky again? You know what I mean? Listen, whether we're talking about being sick with the or the pain or whatever the case may be, being sick is being sick, and being healthy is being healthy, and being unhealthy is being unhealthy. And when you're sick or you're hurt, you're unhealthy. So we're going to talk about the longest and the worst that you have been in an unhealthy state. And one thing that can really make it worse is when you have compounding illnesses, issues, health conditions. Okay, yeah, let's say you got the flu and you got the flu really bad, but then you got some other stuff going on that the flu exacerbates that could really mess things up for you. Like maybe you already had bad respiratory problems. You have certain hereditary conditions or diseases that are going on where a cold a cold ain't just a cold for you. A flu ain't just a flu for you. COVID could be a death sentence to you, and maybe it has to some people that you know. Peace to everybody who didn't make it. So that's what we getting into tonight. We going to talk right. We going to get it through. All right. So let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752 with this your daily. The Daily Go Get 'Em Show. We do this every single day. Every day it rains. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. We break it down, baby. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. I'm your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the. And if you can't say Omar with the, well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Daily Go Get 'Em Show, all up in your area. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should also, to the fullest. This is the DG Show, the Daily Go Get 'Em Show, and we are talking about the longest and the worst that you have been sick. Yeah, we gonna talk about, those hard times, those dark times, them hard times, those dark times when you weren't getting better, when you was down and a little bit out, when you didn't really want to talk about, when you were doing better, when you had to reminisce, when you was feeling good, when you was all of this and that, and your pockets were fat, you was getting money, and everybody was looking at you like the pillar of health. And now look at you, you down like a submarine. You can't get away, you can't be stealth. Can't hide the way that you feel. You sick as a dog, and that's kind of ill. For real. It's real, son. Very real. All right. What's going on, y'all? Let me shout out my people. Carol Chamber, let me friend me, Favorita. What's going on, ma? Good to see me some you and Stacy White. What's going on tonight? And also, T. Carey, right? Morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. And Terry Hawkins, hold it down for the D. 24/7, 365, 12 months out of the year, 52 weeks. What's up, man? Good to see me some of you. Thanks for coming on through. It's good to see you on a regular basis again, also. And Emily Dunlap in the house. I said it, Emily. And TK, right? Thank you for that super chat, that super stickers, that super chat sticker. I appreciate it. Appreciate it mucho. So we talking about the longest and the worst that you've ever been sick. What comes to your mind? I imagine, a lot of us are middle aged, so we done been through some stuff. Some of us have been through car accidents. We done had falls and breaks and freak accidents, all kinds of crazy stuff. Been exposed to people who were sick, and we got sicker than they got sick. That makes you mad. That puts you in blame mode. You ever be around somebody who was sick and they may not have told you that they were sick, and you went around them and got sick, and you got way sicker than they was. They were sick enough, but you got way sicker than they did. It'd be like, why me? My brother from another mother, Norris Hill. Sit back, relax, do your thing, Max, and chill. What's going on, my brother? Good to see me some you. All right. Get my eyes right. Put my spectacles on. T. Carey Wright says, okay. Being sick is very isolating. People avoid you and talk to you like tomorrow is your last day on earth. Then you start walking around acting like everyone is looking at you like you're broken. Wow. Yeah, I never looked at it that way. But I know that there's definitely some things in there that I have seen. The feeling of isolation. The feeling of isolation is real. Because you're the only one sick. Even when other people have been sick around you or like you, they wasn't sick as long as you were sick, and they ain't sick right now. You the one sick right now. You are down. And nothing is worse than when you are sick at the wrong time. I mean, there's never a great time to be sick. But I'm talking about sick when let's say you got sick when you had a trip coming up. You were sick when you needed to prepare for somebody else's event. Let's say around April or May, you running around trying to get everything together for your teenagers, for your graduates prom or graduation or whatever, and you messed around and got sick. So you just don't have the energy and the power to be running around doing things and getting things together and preparing things like you would normally do. And it's discouraging because now you have to rely on other people. And that can be very frustrating and discouraging because now you have to ask people to do things that you would normally do yourself. And you have to ask them to do it right because you're too sick to do it. So in your sickness, you trying to show them, no, not like that, like this. Like, listen, I really appreciate you trying to help out. But you might mess around, get so frustrated frustrated with your condition and their inability to see your vision and carry it out, that you tell them, all right, listen, just go ahead. It's just, like you're too sick to do the things that you need to do, and you got a lot to do, and you can't do it because you're sick. Doctor says stay your ass in bed, or you just might be dead. Stay your ass in bed, or you just might be dead. Make sure you get fed and stay your ass in the bed. And if you don't listen to what I say and take your medicine, you're gonna be dead. You gotta take these orders. You can't use them natural products that you think you want to. And your naturopathic doctor ain't got that thing in mind right now. You won't shine. You gotta get yourself out the fire. You gotta get yourself out of the fire. And sometimes it's like that. And that's one of the most frustrating things. When you want to take the natural route to get over a condition, but you're too deep inside of the condition right now. You are in a dire state. You are in an emergency state. Like if you don't do this right now, ain't a natural remedy out there that you'll be able to use, because they're gonna have to try to bring you back from the dead. The longest and the worst that you've ever been sick. These are some of the things that you have to deal with when you've been sick, when you've been down, when you've been hurt, when you've been injured. And it starts messing with your head. It starts messing with your head. Stacey White says, I fell and it didn't heal as quickly. I'm glad I was prepared for it. So was that the worst you've ever been sick, though? Because we're talking about the longest and the worst that you've been sick. We ain't talking about, a paper cut going wild. I'm talking about when, those times when you really didn't think you was going to get better. Like you was that sick. You were that sick. Like, yo, I'm not getting better. Like people out there who have had the flu, y'all know what I'm talking about. Because one thing about having the flu is that you don't be feeling like you're going to get better. You be sick. You be down for the count. Your body be like, yo, you know how, and man, to all my animal lovers, man, I don't mean to hit y'all in the heart like this, but y'all, this description is the best that I can do because y'all know what I'm talking about. Anybody who has loved an animal, a dog or a cat in particular, and had somebody poison your dog or your cat, because there are cruel neighbors who will do that shit. And you watch your dog or your cat go from being that vibrant, energetic, affectionate animal to them being down and they can't get better. And you see, and you're talking to them, trying to raise their spirits. You're trying to get them to the vet or whatever. Sometimes it's too late and there's nothing you can do. And you go and you watch your animal, you watch your sick pet lay there, and they're responding to when you're talking to them, and their tail is just doing. Their tail is the only thing that can respond because they too weak. They're too sick. And you can tell that you see the sympathy in their eyes for you because they see how sorry you are for them and how you want them to get better. That's how the flu can have you feeling like, I can't breathe. My body is hurting. I'm weak. I'm not hungry. This lethargy, this is crazy. Like you feel the life exit your body. And if you have the flu for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, some people have had the flu for a month, and it feels like forever. Okay. No, so it says isolation is emotionally painful when you see who is really in your corner. Oh my God, that part. People who said they had your back, people who said that it was always down, people who said anything that you need, just ask. I'm always there for you. And they ain't. Or they can't be. Yeah, that part. That part. Oh, Carol Chamberlain said that part, Nars. Stacey White says, when you fall on your hip. Okay. Carol says, I was in a coma for 9 days and spent 3 months recuperating. Whoa! Being in a coma is all but dead. Your body's processes are doing what they're supposed to do, but you have nothing. People can't talk to you. You can't respond. Comatose is like a vegetative state. It's life support. They be asking your family like what they want to do. Like, of course, there are different levels to coma, to being in a coma. Like for, of course, they can induce a coma. Like if you are in such pain that pain relievers can't really do anything for you, they can induce a coma for you. So they can get you stabilized to the point where you won't pull out all of the IV and all of that kind of stuff. But being in a coma is a scary thing for your family and your loved ones, because they like can they hear me? They can't see me. Do they know I'm here? Are they here? Ooh, Carol, wow. Nara said taking chemo for 12 months. Lord, man, cancer. 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 Man, God bless all of the cancer survivors to come back from having cancer. I don't know of a condition that is more demoralizing, scary, because it's a slow death for those who don't survive it. It's a slow death. And when you've taken care of somebody or been exposed and been around somebody who is suffering from cancer, and I'm sorry, they're hurt all the time, and you don't even know how they hurt until you have actually had cancer. You don't understand the pain that they're feeling, but you know that they're in pain. And everyone I've ever known who suffered from cancer always tried to put on a good face. They all were very brave. They all fought the good fight. I've never known a cancer patient that was always like, "Oh my God," even though I know they wanted to be. Even though I know they wanted to be. And so when people start going through stage 3 to stage 4, stage 4 is really a wrap for most cancer patients. But some people come back. There have been miracles. Very little. A lot of people don't know that there's actually a stage 5. Stage 5 is nobody comes back from stage 5. Stage 5 is basically when they call the family in. Like it can happen it can happen any moment. Carol says, I was on a ventilator while in the coma. So basically, you were on life support. And I remember when that happened to you, because online people was like, "Yo, prayers up for Carol Chamber." I was like, "Huh? What we talking about?" Yeah, Carol. One of my Facebook memories, I went on there and I realized, man, you've been friends with Facebook since 2012. I was like, you commented on one of my posts like in 2000, early 2013. I was like, you've been spying on me. Been spying on me for a long time. Long time. Messing with you. But yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, the longest and the worst that you have been sick. And one thing about illness, one thing about sickness is that you own that. Nobody is sick like you. Because you don't know how somebody else is sick, and nobody else knows how you are sick. Hey, y'all, make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Daily Go Getimism Show, and we are talking about the longest and the worst that you have been sick. The longest and the worst that you have been sick. Yeah. She said I wasn't spying. Nah, I'm playing with you. But yeah, you know, once again, like I was saying, when you're sick, you own that. Nobody else can tell you how you feel. Physically and psychologically. Psychologically, the psychology of sickness is the one thing that can bring you back or make your situation way worse. Because once you get to the point where you don't believe that you're ever going to get better, there's a good chance that it can take a lot longer or that you actually won't get better. Because you need the reduction of stress in order to speed up the healing process and to give your immune system a spark. And it's easier said than done, because being positive is hard as hell when you're hurting. It's hard as hell when you just don't have the energy and the power to lift anything, to go anywhere, to move. All you can do is lay and sleep and hurt. Laying, sleeping, moaning. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough on you. It's tough on people who love you. It may be tough on your caregivers. It's tough. Stacy says, so true. I ask God for mercy and grace to deal with my health. It's real. It's real. And speaking of God and grace and mercy, at some point, as your condition goes on, you're going to ask God, well, why me? Like, I have to trust your processes. I know I have to trust your plan that you have for me. I know that you are looking out for me. I just want to know why. Like, what am I supposed to get out of this? Like, why is this happening to me? What kind of person is this going to make me? How can I carry this thing the way you want me to carry it, God? Like, you know how it is when you get spiritual, you don't want to make God mad. So you don't want to be talking, you don't want to sass God. You know, when you sick to the point where you don't want to sass God, like, all right. God, I ain't trying to be smart or nothing. You know, I'm coming to you humbly. Lord, I'm coming to you humbly. I'm just asking. Like, is this because of something I did? Or, I mean, is it because of something I've done? You know, because I know I've done some stuff. I know. Yeah, I mean, you know all about it. You saw it. I prayed for it. I prayed about it. Some of the stuff I was too ashamed to pray about, but you know about that too. But anyway, um, like, is this a punishment, or is this one of your lessons for me to show somebody else? I'm just asking. Like, I ain't trying to say, like, I ain't trying to act like I know you better than you know me, or better than you know yourself. I'm only asking. Like, is there some way or something that I could do to reverse this? Like, can I get back? Or is this one of your plans to, like, once I get up out of here, out of this thing, because you're gonna let me get up out of this thing, right? I mean, right, guy? I'm just asking. I ain't telling you to do it. I'm asking. I'm just asking. I'm just looking for information. Excuse me. Hold on. Hold on, guy. Hold on, guy. Oh, when I say "oh my God," I don't mean like, guy. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, so, like, when you make me better, I mean, if you make me better, um, like, is this like a lesson that you're gonna work through me to teach other people, right? I'm going to be like a vessel and a bridge to other people, and to show them, how great you are, God, right? God. But I'm going to get better, right, God? I'm not always going to feel this way. Right, God? Oh my God. Right, God. Excuse me, God. I was sick. Yeah, you get to that point because you're unsure. You're unsure. You're looking for a sign, a symbol, some type of indication that you're going to get better. They say that it's always darkest before the dawn, but there's a silver lining behind the clouds, right? But when we talk about the longest and the worst that you have been sick, we're talking about the people that you have seen, and now we're talking about yourself. It gets personal. It get real personal. Truth time. Truth time. How many of y'all don't think about how strong and vital and athletic y'all were in your younger years? See, because some of us were really strong, athletic, agile, flexible, and we were just those kids that never got sick, could eat anything we wanted, never gain weight, that type shit. When that's no longer the case, and you start looking at at your present, thinking about your future, and remembering your past, like, yo, man, I used to have a 60-inch vertical. People be like, what you mean? You ain't had no 60-inch vertical. You mean to tell me from a standstill you could jump 5 feet in the air? Yup. No running and jumping. I had a 5-foot vertical, 60 inches. You might have only had like a 48-inch vertical. That's a hell of a vertical, more than most people. Right now, you might be to the point where you scared to jump off a curb. And Curbs ain't as big as they used to be. You remember back in the day, a curb was long. You know what I mean? Remember how curbs used to be before they started paving over the streets? Now curbs be little. With all the asphalt that they put over the trolley tracks in Philly, over the bricks and all of that kind of stuff, curbs are little. But you know when you see how curbs used to be, and it reminds you when they remove the asphalt to repave the streets, and they scrape up the old concrete and the old asphalt down to the original, and you be like, dang, look at the curb big, baby. That's how it was when we was little. We had big curbs. Today's generation don't even know what a curb really used to look like. We used to be able to sit on a curb. You can't sit on a curb no more. Have you noticed? You never seen anybody sit on a curb? We sat on the curb as kids. Remember? On the block, we sat on the curb. Anyway, right now you scared to jump off a curb, and I'm talking about a modern day 2022 curb. That little baby curb. Ain't nothing but a little baby curb. Ain't nothing but a little baby. Back in the day, you could hang jump from a 2-story window. 2 stories. Hang jump. On your feet, like I told you I could do it. Now you be thinking like I'm break every bone in my body if I jump off this curb. Like I ain't gonna make it. And it's real. When you start getting in touch with your mortality, like how much longer do I really have to live? You know, people be telling you like just because you're not well, you know, it don't mean that you're not gonna get better, and it don't have any bearing on your life expectancy. Yeah, everybody else is gonna tell you that, but inside you be like, this is that time where I think I better enjoy every moment of my waking life. And I think maybe I better look into that little life insurance thing so I can leave my babies a little something. And I wish I would have did this shit when I was in my 20s and my 30s, because now those life insurance rates, they're gonna try to 2 words. Colonial pen, nigga. Colonial pen. You gotta get this bargain basement life insurance. My man Lawrence Sakel. What up? Carol says, LOL, that was me, Skinny Minnie. Yeah, it was a lot of us. It was real. Stacey says, I used to think about how flexible I was when I was younger. I mean, shoot. There are all kinds of things that we used to be able to do when we were younger. And most of the time, we wasn't even using our potential. You know, some of us were athletes, so we actually used what we had. Many of us had athletic ability, but we didn't really use it. And now it ain't like that. But you know how in your mind you're still as agile and athletic as you used to be. In your mind, in your head. But when you talk about the longest and the worst that you've been sick, we don't have to point any farther than right there when we start thinking about, yeah, this is when everything started to change. This is when everything, started to get a little different. Wow, Tristan said, I haven't breathed right since COVID in March 2010. Do you mean 2020? I hope so. Okay. Yeah. That's to be honest with you, most people, even people who haven't had COVID, haven't breathed the same since 2020. That's why when you go to the doctor now, some of y'all may have experienced this, but the last time I went to the doctor for a checkup was last year around this time. It's time for me to get an annual again. But last year at this time, they did something different that they never did before at any other time I ever went to the doctor. They checked my lung capacity. And my whole 52 years and 51 years last year, I had never had my lung capacity checked, even at times when I had the flu. They checked my lung capacity. And when they did it, I was like, so what we looking like? And they said, it's pretty good. I said, it ain't the same as it was. She was like, yeah, I know. I was like, what you mean you know? She was like, yeah, a lot of people have been through this. Because they know that wearing these masks, that whole 2020 for the most part, and all of 2021, they know that it affected people's breathing. You're not supposed to be breathing in that carbon dioxide. I know that we needed to wear the masks in order to, control the spread of and the contraction of COVID, but it's not natural and it's not healthy to breathe in your own air that you are exhaling. It's not healthy to wear the masks for hours and hours. It's not healthy. And we did that 2020 and 2021. And my breathing ain't been the same. I used to be able to do them long notes. I used to be able to do it seconds longer. And I'm playing around, but I'm dead serious. It's real. It's real. And shout out to the people who survived COVID. Now, on one hand, politically, people say, well, COVID ain't nothing but the flu and blah, 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 blah. No, it's more than the flu. Because the way that it affected our community was more than the flu. It's certain people whose grandmothers, mothers and fathers, grandfathers, aunts and uncles, spouses, brothers and sisters ain't here no more. And it ain't and none of them lost nobody through to the flu. They ain't lose nobody. I ain't never lost nobody to no flu. But I sure have lost some people to some COVID. So, you can say whatever you want if you want to get political. But for the people who have had COVID, you see they don't play around with it. You don't hear them running around talking about something, it ain't that bad. It's just like the flu. No, it ain't just like the flu. It's real. Barbara Hill CC. Hey. Carol Chamberlain says, my illness caused me to realize that I want to live and do any and everything that I know I may not have time to do. I want to live and enjoy my life, whatever time I have left. I hear that, man. Carol says, COVID really scared me because of my previous illness. I could dig it. Tristan says, I have 2 lung function tests, normal and clear. Still don't breathe right. And he says, me too. Strong vocalist here. I lost an octave as well. An octave as well. I can't remember the lyrics to my own songs. Wow, man. No, it says my vocal cords have changed too. Mm-hmm. Or should I say have been affected. We're never really going to be the same since that COVID. It did something. COVID unscrewed something that you didn't know was screwed tight before. That's basically what it did to our health. And I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I didn't want to get political with this, but I believe that the vaccine made it worse for people because the COVID is in the vaccine because that's how they were supposed to make you immune to it by putting it in, just like the flu shot. They put the flu in you so it can build up your body's defenses to the flu. Like when you have a cold or when you have the flu, you know, your body builds up antibodies to the to the virus. Well, they did the same thing with COVID. But I know when I took that second COVID shot, I was sick. I was lethargic. I never felt nothing like that before. That was crazy. I've never felt anything like that before. So I've never been diagnosed with COVID. I've never had it. But that shot, I was like, what is this? I was laid up for the weekend on some dead shit. I was like, man, so you mean to tell me that this is what people who get COVID experience? And imagine having a cold and a cough on top of that. So anybody who took the vaccine, now you got it in you. They don't want to tell you the truth about that. I'm glad that we are farther out of the pandemic than we were before. But as far as I'm concerned, we're not all the way out of the fire, and we're certainly feeling the after effects of the whole thing. But yeah, COVID unscrewed a tight part of us, and we were functioning with the screw being loose. And now we realize that we've done damage to ourselves because that screw is loose. It's like it's like running on an engine. It's like running on an engine where you haven't had an oil change in the engine. The car's still running, but you're noticing that it's running a little different. But by the time you really realize what is really wrong, you've damaged that engine to the point where it's not going to run the same again. It has permanent damage to it. It'll still run, but it'll never run the same. That's what we're working with the COVID. No, it says my falsetto is non-existent. He said I still misspelled it. It's all right. It's all right. Stacey White says, I took a flu shot before and it made me sick as a dog. I never took the flu shot again. I understand. Entiendo. Carol says there are still variants coming up every day. That's right. They just don't advertise as much as they used to. And that's all political because they don't want to admit that the vaccines weren't the panacea that they want. But look, I forget about all that. You know what I mean? We doing a little overtime here. We talking about the longest and the worst that you've been sick. We ain't all have COVID, but we all were affected by COVID. Tristan says, what's weakening the blood? What's weakening the blood brain barrier? That is where you should be asking questions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it's crazy. But yeah, man, you know, I don't care if you. I know in 2016, during an exercise session with my team, I fell, and now I know that I broke my wrist. That thing took a year. It took a year for me to really get back to, you know, being able to use it effectively like I did before. A year. I broke that thing Labor Day weekend, but I never accepted that it was broke. I wrapped it up and, tried to stabilize it. But I do push-ups a lot and I couldn't do them. And when I finally got it strong enough to where I could do some push-ups, I had to do them on my fingertips. I couldn't do them. I couldn't do them on my palms because my wrist was messed up. And when I do this, I can still feel it. I can still feel a little bit. It's I'm back, but it hurt. It hurt really bad. And it took more than 6 to 8 weeks to heal. When they say that it takes 6 to 8 weeks to heal for a bone to heal, they don't mean that it's fully healed. That means like now it's getting to the point where you can start saying that it's healed. But the healing process involves pain. They don't always explain that to the fullest point that you can understand it. Recovery is painful. But once you get over the hump, recovery is painful in the process, but it's also uplifting. When you finally realize, like, oh, I'm finally going to get better. I'm not going to die from this. And just remember, some people don't get to that point. Some people are going to have to live with the conditions that they have for the rest of their lives. And once again, like we were talking about earlier in the show, we have to decide, what if I never get better than how I feel right now? Will I be all right? Mentally, emotionally, psychologically, will I be okay with this? The worst and the longest I've ever been sick. All right, y'all, let's do these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious October 21st, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Natasha Paget. Happy birthday to you, Natasha. And also, she spells her name Missy Hele. It's like Michelle. Missy Hele. Turning 39 years old today. Happy birthday to you. And also Jennifer Eden. Happy birthday to you. And Queenie Emma. Happy birthday to you. And Karen Murray, my girl, Karen Murray, turning 48 years old today. Happy birthday to you, K Love. And also Tracy Young. Happy birthday to you. And my cousin, Janie Carter. And last but not least, my girl going all the way back to the Blog Talk days, Mina Holiday. Hey. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. I hope that today finds you in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And I want to say this to all of y'all and anybody who shares this birthday on this glorious October 21st, anywhere out there in the world. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, first of all, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. We will be back tomorrow, 1 o'clock p.m. for another daily goes. I'm sorry, Urban Therapy with Sun show. So make sure y'all come through. And yo, man, the longest and the worst that you've ever been sick. The biggest thing to remember about all of that is that you did make it through. You know, peace, love, and comfort for those who didn't make it through or who are still struggling. And some of us might be sick and hurt right now. Somebody out there, you know, stepped on a Lego toy or stubbed their toe on a bed frame edge last night, and they suffering right now. They hurting. Somebody was humping last night, and they back just ain't what it used to be. And ain't nothing worse than getting hurt in the name of love, hump in the name of love, hurt in the name of love, hump in the name of love, hump, hump, side to side. Now you laid up like you're dying. You can't get up and walk. Let me see your breath. Let me see your back hurt. Hump, hump, side to side. You got hurt. Feel like you died. You can't walk or you lay down. Let me see your back hurt. It's gonna be all right, it's gonna be all right, though. Don't worry about it, son. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be all right. They said that God don't give you nothing that you can't handle. But he ain't never say that you was gonna like handling it. They didn't say that you was gonna like handling it. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, and love y'all right back to life. So I'm just saying, listen, I don't care what you say, Bobby C. Say, a back problem, man. Back problems is real. Yo, when your back is hurt, yo, you are null and void. You are null and void. You can't do nothing. You can't even think about nothing. You're done, son. You're done. All right, Blog Talk, we're going to get you out of here.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right, y'all. And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobers. One love, baby. Peace.